Okay, Shalom. I want to start giving all praises due to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. And this episode is about DNA tests, false DNA tests, and being false accusations, being locked up in jail or prison and stuff like that. And you didn't do that. A lot of us didn't do that. So in this time that we're living in, and the man that's out there in the four corners of the earth, you know what I'm saying? We know that that's going to be part of our could be part of our persecution. So this is a small little documentary, about how the DNA test can be false, and also, how you can link that up with the RFID chip. But this is all about being oppressed and Jacob's trouble. How a lot of us, especially those who are claiming to be Israelites and following the Lord's commandments to the best of their ability, don't think that stuff is going to be sweet. Okay, and living in these days and times, don't think that we're not going to be faced with these trials. So here's one that I wanted to
Sources
start
are telling me Devontae Sanford is already being transported back to this area and then finally set to be released as early as tomorrow. The 23-year-old has been in prison since he was 14 years old after police said he had confessed to the murders of 4 people. The incredible part of this story is that 2 weeks after the 4 homicides on Runyon Street in Detroit, another man known as Vincent Smothers, a self-confessed hitman, admitted to numerous killings, including those 4 that sent Sanford to prison. Still, remarkably, it's taken this long for state police to examine what Detroit police did with the case all that time, and for the legal system to free the now 23-year-old. An emotional press conference with Devontae's attorney giving us more insight into what's just happened and the significance.
And this case puts it on full display about how things can happen, about how a 14-year-old child can be coerced into giving a false confession, and then how the courts are going to rely on that confession. And what's to say that the court shouldn't rely on it? What's to say that Judge Sullivan shouldn't have relied on that confession? Well, it was his defense attorney's job to challenge that confession.
Right now I'm here with Bill Proctor, former Action News reporter. And Bill, you worked very hard on this case to bring this to light and to see this young man freed.
Many years ago, we were the first to reveal the misconduct on the part of the Detroit Police Department, essentially orchestrating the confession that sent this young man of diminished mental capacity, by the way, to prison. But then, after all these years, is a big question for Kim Worthy. Why did it take her so long, knowing that only weeks after Devontae's incarceration, that a very credible confessor stepped forward to say he is responsible?
What does it mean for Devontae and the others who could still be locked up, innocent men wrongfully in prison?
Finally, after all these many years, Devontae Sanford and his family can see justice. But it is extremely difficult because of the prosecutor's decision to simply let what has been done stay in place. It never should be that way. There should always be a review in claims of actual innocence.
Thank you, Bill, for talking with us and for all your hard work bringing this important story to light. Meantime, we want to tell you, Kim Worthy, the prosecutor, having a press conference Thursday morning to talk about this. We will be there to bring you the latest. Simon Shakette, 7 Action News, reporting from downtown.
Now, you see that it says teen wrongly convicted for murder and freed after 9 years. 9 years out of a man's life is crazy. And then there's been accounts of men doing like 24 years that's been incarcerated, and they haven't even been guilty. They wasn't even guilty. So what if a man gets free after he's like 60 years old and they give him money? You don't spend all that time in jail. Okay? You don't spend all that time in jail. So this is some of the things that you have to train your mind for spiritually. You could be locked up. You could be framed. Okay? And then if you are framed and locked up, you have to be strong in those situations. Okay? Now, let's take a look at DNA. And I know a lot of you guys are familiar with DNA. Okay? So let's take a look at that.
DNA.
I don't know how to pronounce that word. Deoxyribonucleic acid, a self-replicating material from which is present in early or all living organisms as the main constituent of chromosomes. It is the carrier of genetic information. Excuse me if I don't know how to pronounce the word, but that's why I have it on here so you can read it yourself. For you bright ones, for you ones that could get it. The fundamental and distinctive characteristics or qualities of someone or something, especially when regarded as unchangeable. So now you see today a lot of people say that they're using this DNA as evidence. They're saying you can use the DNA as your ancestry, you know what I'm saying, to know about your ancestors, to see where you come from. There's mistakes in men error. Okay? So just because a men come up with something don't mean it's right. Okay? So now we look at this, the DNA. Now we're going to go into this, what I really wanted to show you. Okay? DNA cases of error. Okay? Now listen to this. I don't know if this was the one. I think this is the one on top. Yes, this is it. Police use of DNA, mistakes, error, and fraud. Now, just because we see how we see how we touched on this, DNA doesn't mean that they say, "Oh, we showed him we had the DNA that he did it." A lot of things like men are behind these things, and these men are behind it. They can tamper with it, they can mess with it, or the DNA. How they analyze this DNA and how they use it, it could still be a mistake. Machines make mistakes. Okay, machines make mistakes. You can't. They make mistakes just like humans make mistakes. So now you got these men innocently being now there's cases that people have done it, but there's many cases that men that haven't done it. So I use this to make you think, to make you contemplate that you could be falsely accused. Okay, like come on, man, you spit on the ground, that's DNA. You drink from a cup, that's from DNA. You know what I'm saying? When you go to a restaurant and use their forks, if you eat out, that's your DNA on that silverware. And it could be planted as if you was there. Okay? Now let's read a little bit of this, but I'm not going to read all of it. Because I'm going to connect this with the chip, and I'm going to tell you why. Do innocent people... Wait, let's start from the top. DNA testing is not infallible. Do innocent people really have nothing to fear from inclusion in government DNA databases? Bigger databases and expanded collection practices necessarily increase the chance that innocent people will have their DNA taken, used, and stored by the state. Now, I'm going to hit you with something. If you're convicted of a felony or anything like that, and once in your life you made a mistake, let's say if it was stealing, or let's say if it was false accusations or whatever like that, but if you could plead to that felony, now they could take the DNA test. They could do a DNA swab and keep it in their bank. Now, did you ever think about this, that this DNA, this mouth swab that you take, and they keep it in the state register, okay, in the state bank, you don't think they can use that to frame men of Israel that's doing the work? Now they be like, come on, Shema, man, you going too far. That ain't here yet. Why would they do that? Remember, we're dealing with a devil. Okay? We're dealing with a devil, and the devil would do anything to get his point across. He would do anything to destroy the nation of Israel, especially the elect. So we're going to be faced with these tasks. Now, I've been in jail a couple of times. I'm not bragging about that in my life, and it's crazy, and it's crazy. And especially when you're a young man coming up, a lot of us been forcibly arrested by cops, and a lot of us did certain things that we wasn't supposed to do, and we got arrested by the things that we have done. Okay? But then it has cases that people that haven't done rape, they just was in the wrong place at the wrong time or whatever, and they really didn't do it. And they spent 9, 10, 20 years in jail, and then they finally say, oh, we found out that you didn't do it. So don't put your hope in DNA databases, because it says the bigger database and expanded collection practices necessarily increase the chance that innocent people will have their DNA taken, used, and stored by the state. Now, let me ask you this. Israelites, okay, of the circumcision, okay, that know the Lord's statute commandments and following it with their wholeheartedly? Is the state our friend? Is the state our friend? One issue is whether such people will be falsely accused and perhaps even convicted of a crime purely because of forced matches in error, which can occur by chance or through poor laboratory/police practice. Across the world, forensic DNA labs have had problems with cross-contamination of samples, mislabeling, misinterpretation of samples, and in some cases outright fraud, including the New York City Medical Examiner's Office had to review more than 800. Check this shit out. 800 rape cases from a 10-year period during which DNA evidence was mishandled by a lab technician. San Francisco Police Crime Lab technician and supervisor were implicated in alleged misconduct after processing samples despite having failed proficiency exams, causing a review of 1,400 cases. Excuse me. Now, the FBI acknowledged that nearly every examiner in an elite FBI forensic unit gave flawed testimony in almost all trials in which they offered evidence against criminal defendants over more than 2-decade period before 2000. Come on, we got more. Wide-scale corruption and theft at South Africa's leading police forensic science laboratory led to massive black backlogs as samples had to be retested. Now, keep in mind, you would think, and I would feel like this too by saying this, majority of these accidents and these flaws are being hit on our people. Majority of these mistakes and flaws and these misrepresentation, okay, been hit on our people, or false accusation been hit on majority of our people, okay, so-called African, so-called Latin American, and indigenous people, okay, the poor people, the brokenhearted. These cases been on us because nobody loves us. Like Tupac say, they don't give a fuck about us. And that's true. Okay? And then they say sorry when they find out, but meanwhile you stuck in this hellhole. Okay? For 10 and 15 years. Or maybe 40 years and you made it out and now you damn near can't even cross the street. Do you know being incarcerated for such a long time, damn near when you come out, you probably don't even know how to walk the street, cross the street? Because everything can be looked new to you. It changes. And then it affects your mind, even though people don't think it does. Okay? Now, a review of DNA testing practices in India. Okay, well, you see the point. The consequences can be severe. Consider the case of Adam Scott, who was wrongly accused of raping a woman in Manchester in jail for 5 months. Phone records later offered an airtight alibi. A report from the UK forensic science regulator found that the error was the result of avoidable contamination. Come on, man, but we're sorry that happened to you. Now, the reason why I wanted to bring that up is because that's the Jacob's trouble. That could lead to your hour of temptation. Okay? Okay? You know, they could tell you to take this for your job. You know, they're going to start taking mouth swabs for job tests. They do that for the jobs as well. Drug tests. It's from where I'm at, the last place that they don't took just urine. Now they're stepping it up and taking swabs out of your mouth for the test. And they can misuse that. So the state is not our friend. The state always been our enemies for our people. Okay? Let's hear some scriptures. Okay? Where's it at? Yeah, because we have to understand that, man. We have to understand that this thing that we're into, you have to be able to be persecuted. You have to be able to touch that. You have to be able to, not saying that you should, that you willingly say, yeah, to be bragging that you've been locked up. You know what I'm saying? But you have to be able to understand, man, you might be locked up. Now, I was locked up in New York at one time when I was part of a group. Okay? And I was by myself and I didn't have no witnesses, to back me up. Okay? And I was not guilty. All right? They threw the case out. They found nothing on me because they would lie. It was a lie. But see, that's why too, I remember when I remember the group that I was under, they always told us to go home early. Don't stand around the camp and hang out. Eat. Y'all do what you gotta do and go home. Me and a couple of brothers stayed late. We ate. One brother went his way. I had to wait for my train to come back to Long Island from Manhattan. Right? But before that, I got me something to eat. Yeah, we had a little drink. I had a little drink, but it was nothing to get you drunk. This damn fucking heathen Arab, you know what I'm saying? This, like, what did he do? He did something with the handling my money, and he did something like slopping the food, like just disrespectful, like just giving me anything, like I was a dog. Okay, so I told him, I said, make me another sandwich, make me another hot dog, and I gave it to him. Gave it to him the way he gave it to me. He gave it to me like I was a goddamn animal. I gave it back to him like I threw that goddamn food back at him like he was an animal. Okay, now Lord and behold, all them Arabs down there when you were by yourself, okay, or Elam, whatever they was, I think they was Elam and Arab. Sometimes I can't tell a difference unless they got a fucking dot on their head. Okay. He threw stuff at me. We was throwing stuff at each other, and it was chaos. I got arrested. All of them helped charges against me. The cops didn't even hear my report. Black cop arrested me. Okay? A black cop arrested me. You know what I'm saying? Stayed in the jail for overnight, whatever like that. Got out, kept going back to court for a whole year. Found out they threw it out, was not guilty. None of them came up there to press charges. Okay? But see, this is like the wrong place at the wrong time. Now, should I have went home earlier? Okay, or went to another grounds or whatever like that, like we was told. That's why sometimes it's good to follow orders. And that was on my part. You know what I'm saying? Not on the part that what I've committed, but on the part that I shouldn't have been there around all those fucking heathens. These are the same heathens when we out there in the daytime on Broadway, coming past us and they see what we doing. They see what we doing. Now, when you go back under the ground and you go to get something to eat, these are the same heathens that probably work there. They see what you're doing. Okay? So, it's something for you guys to pay attention to learn, And then, like I said before, I was 16 when I first got locked up. When I first got locked up, we was in Job Corps. Okay, gang broke, a little so-called fake gangs broke out. Put me in jail. You know what I'm saying? When we got in jail, me and my best friend at the time, we got in jail. I was around niggas that caught bodies. Okay? So the reason why I'm saying this, jail is not a place to go to because I'm not using it. Yo, look, I'm Shaman. I've been through something. I'm tough. No, it was depression. It was depressing. It was a depressed situation. Any man that's happy that he go to jail or brag about it, stay away from that nigga because something ain't right with him. You know what I'm saying? You have a spirit of being free, not a spirit of being in a cave. But now I'm saying if you caught up in that predicament for false accusation, stand strong because these are the things that we're going to be facing in future time. Okay? These are the things that we're going to be facing in future time. So what we're really doing when we in this word, we're preparing our mind for the kingdom to come here on earth. But there's a trial that we have to walk. And that straight gate is rough and rugged. Okay? Just because you're doing the will of the Lord and you're doing it the best ability, don't mean you're going to be tested. Don't mean your ass going to be thrown in jail. Okay? And if you try to even run and say, well, I'm going to stop doing this. It's too hard for me. You know what I'm saying? I can't do this no more. And try to run, you're still going to get caught. Remember, this is Jacob's trouble. This is the hour of temptation. Okay? These are the elect that's going to be tried and refined. A lot of people think they're going to church and they think that they're going to be all good. You know, that just because they go to church, that no harm is going to come to them. Okay, you keep thinking that. Here it is, Revelation 3 and 10. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation. What is the hour of temptation? That's a trial. That's when you want to break down, when you feel like you can't go no more. You just can't do it no more. You tired. Okay? You hungry, you aching, you in pain. You know, it'd be a lot of days, man, that I can't even go out because due to an accident in my back, you know what I'm saying? I get sharp spasm pain from a damn car accident. But then I thank the Lord that at least he made me live. I could have died in that. Okay? And you know what a simple nigga would say to you? Yo, you know you're going to get a settlement. Nigga, I could never walk again like the way I used to could walk again. What are you talking about? Yo, you know you're going to get paid. Those type of people, keep them away from you, man. What about, bro, are you all right? What about that? Read it again. I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try to that dwell upon the earth. Now, I say that, go to verse 11. Sorry. Behold, I come quickly, because the Lord going to come quickly. Okay? He going to be there for you. You know what I'm saying? Hold thy fast which thou hast. That hold on to this word. Okay? This word is about enduring. This word is about being tried, being tried and refined. The gold is being purified, and the gold is the men of the Lord, the elect, that's pushing this word. Okay? This is not a race, to a glamour race to say, oh, look what I have done. Look at me. You know what I'm saying? Hey, everybody look at me. This is about a relationship that you building with the Most High, with you and Him. With you and Him. Just because you're part of a group, a big group, a small group, or whatever like that, it doesn't mean nothing. Okay? The main important thing is keeping those commandments and having that relationship with the Most High and His Son, Mashiach Yahweh. Building on that foundation between you and Him. Because when things hit the fan, that nigga is not going to be that, well, not that nigga, because if he's a brother, he's a brother. That prince is not going to be there to go through that same walk as you. You're going to be on your own. That's why you're supposed to build this with the Most High between you and Him. Build it with y'all. Make that relationship with you and Him. The truth is making it your own. When it says making the truth your own, making the truth is your own is not about what your brother and you and your camp can do or people around you, your wife, your children, your camp leaders if you're in a camp, or you just making this walk by yourself because you're not in no camp. Okay? Because John the Baptist wasn't in no camp. And he was known to be one of the righteous preachers ever. Okay? Because he kept the commandments and he followed the Mashiach wherever he went. That's the important. That's building the foundation between you and Him. Not with 1,000 niggas in one camp. But if you got a camp and the camp is doing right, then may the Most High bless that camp. May the Most High bless that camp. And may that camp continue to flourish. Okay? And then let's go to verse 12. Him that overcome will I make a pillar in the temple of my power, and he shall go no more out. And I write upon him the name of my power, and the name of the city of my power, which is New Jerusalem, which is the city of peace, which comes down out of heaven from the Most High. And I will write upon him a new name. Okay, now you got two marks. You got the charagma mark, well, actually the mark, chi, star, stigma. And then you got the mark, meaning exempt of judgment. Okay? These men are going to be tried, but these men is going to get the mark, which is extended of judgment. Okay? Extended, I'm sorry. This mark is not extended of judgment. This mark is exempt from judgment. You're going to be exempt from judgment. But that don't mean you're going to be tried. You're not going to be tried, buddy boy. That don't mean you're not going to be tried. And every day in life, we being tried. The Lord is trying to show us something. We cry. We be like, stop the crying, man. Hold on. The Lord is trying to tell you something. Now, let's go to Proverbs. Proverbs 3:30. Proverbs 3:30. And it says, oh my bad. Proverbs 3:30. Proverbs 3:30. Strive not with a man without cause, if he have done thee no harm. Okay? Yeah, because you know what it is? A lot of niggas are getting in trouble, right? And they assign statements on each other. Let's say we all get together, and I'm just using this because for a scenario, those who've been in the streets, they understand at one time in their life. You know what I'm saying? But that doesn't mean it's right. You do together, y'all all get together, and y'all say we're gonna rob something. Okay, you all get together and you go to say we all gonna rob. You know the consequences. What happens if one of us get caught, right? We all agreed that if we, rob this bank, literally, right? If I get caught, I have to hold that. If y'all didn't get caught, y'all didn't get caught. But I'm not. This is what we agreed on. We signed a contract, even though it was a contract of wickedness and evilness. I'm just using this as a scenario, but you signed that contract. When we all sit together, we signed that contract. Yo, we gonna rob the bank. This is what we gonna do. You know what happens when you get caught? If one of us get caught, or none, or all two get caught and one get away, you agreed to it. But you have coons, okay? You got Sambo's not Uncle Tom, because Uncle Tom was a good brother. He was the one that helped people. If a lot of you would read, you would know that. Uncle Tom, so don't call a brother Uncle Tom as concerning him a sellout. It's a Sambo. The Sambo was the sellout. He was the one that was doing bullshit. The Sambo. So the Sambo will sign statements on you. Get everybody arrested because he going down. He got caught. He mad because he wasn't smart enough or wise enough, or he just got caught. He was just a fat, sloppy nigga that couldn't run and he got out of breath. You know what I'm saying? So he gets caught and now he gonna do this time. And all of a sudden the bright lights go up in his fucking head and he says, I can't do 7.5 years. And guess what? Even when he tells, he's still gonna do at least 6 of that, or get released for good behavior. Maybe just 6 years, maybe a year earlier. What's the benefits of that? Okay. And did you know out of all the slave revolts, the major ones, I believe it was 225 slave revolts. You know, all of them fell due to a Sambo nigga telling the masters because he wanted to get a better position. The master never gave him a better position. Okay? He was still a Sambo after he told, and millions of niggas' lives were lost because of that. And that's what we're talking about today. We have a lot of niggas that Sambos. Okay? I said don't use Uncle Tom, because Uncle Tom, when you do research and you read, he was a good brother. He was for the people, helping them. Y'all can stay here when y'all running from the slave master. I'll look out for y'all. The Sambo niggas was telling. He was the infiltrator. Okay? So strive not with a man without cause, if you have done thee no harm. Okay? So you don't just tell on somebody or get them in trouble just to see them get in trouble because you may not have a good position with them. Okay? Now let's go to Matthew 5 and 10. Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteous sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Now you see that? That's hard to embrace. Because when you're being beat up and you being locked up, you got a family, you got a daughter, you know what I'm saying? You got a wife that you love, okay? They may not be here for you when you get out. Life goes on. you go you gonna find that out, man. You know, when you get really persecuted, the ones that you really thought that was there for you, they're not going to be there for you. And that's what's so beautiful about these scriptures. You're going to be tried in that time, in that era, okay? Whether it's in this situation now, modern day time, in the present, or in the future to come, okay? But this should upbuild you. And if you can remember these scriptures, they're inspiring to build you up, that you can know this when this happened to you, okay? Because they say that a lot of us that's out there on the highways and byways, we're marked down. They got all of us, our pictures somewhere, okay? And when they ready to execute their judgment to the saints, don't be surprised you don't get a knock at the door 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, when you butt naked after you just made love to your wife or something like that, because you're so comfortable. Everything is going good for you in your life. That's why we were taught from the beginning when the men when the apostles when the the apostles from GMS at one time they used to say, I remember Gabar, Apostle Gabar used to always say that don't sleep naked, man. And I was like, he bugging out when he first said that. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, don't sleep naked. Like, you make your love and stuff like that, man, but don't be sleeping butt naked, laying around. You know what I'm saying? Get up, you do what you got to do, you know what I'm saying? And you get up and you sleep with some shorts on, man, just in case. Always be on guard. That's what a watchman is, okay? Never get comfortable. And that's why a lot of us fail. We get comfortable. Never get comfortable. Stay on point. Stay on guard. You in the military, man. The military, you always on point. Don't you know the rest of the men lives is in your hand if you fall asleep on your point? Verse 11. Blessed are you when men shall revile you. What does revile mean? Let's look up that. When men shall revile you.
Strong's G 3679 anidizo. Anidizo.
Okay? So that means to reproach you. All right? To deserve a reproach, to reproach, unbribe, revile. Okay? Come against you. Okay? And shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake. Because some niggas lie on you falsely. You didn't even do it. Yeah, I seen him do it. I seen Shammai there. He was there. And he wasn't even there. Just to see you go down. This is the type of world we living in right now, man. Perilous times, as the Bible say. 1 Peter 4:14. 1 Peter 4:14. If you be reproached for the name of Mashiach Yahushua, happy are you, for the spirit of the glory of the Most High rests upon you. On their part, he is evil, spoken of, but on your part, he is glorified. Hallelujah. All right. So you're gonna be suffered, but the Lord, you're gonna get that crown of life, man. Could you imagine the Most High sends his beloved Son, Mahasha, okay, to give you the crown that speak about in Apocrypha, and he said, "Come to me." He's tall in stature, and he said, "Come to you, come to us, those who kept the faith," and we bend down, and he give us that crown. That's the victor's crown. That's the spiritual crown that we will receive. Okay? It ain't the biggest man. It ain't the mightiest man. Okay? It's not the man who run the fastest. It was the men that kept the pace, kept going. And they didn't give up. Can you imagine that? And let's say you just can't imagine that. You can't see this because you might say, this is the all spook God that y'all believe in. What is it they really believe in down here that is so fantastic? So to give you that inspiration and to give you that courage, why don't you look for something in the heavens to keep you going, to keep you excited? You know, if you run in a race and you want to get that gold medal, you haven't attained that gold medal, but you know once you complete that race, you will receive that gold medal. Think of that in a spiritual way. that you're going to get that gold crown. Psalms 35 and 19. Psalms 35 and 19. Let not them that are my enemies wrongfully rejoice over me, neither let them wink their eye that hate me without a cause. For they speak not peace, but they devise deceitful matters against them that are quiet in the land. Yeah, they open their mouth wide against me and say, aha, aha, our eye hath seen it. See, and that's what the people too. Like a lot of family members, like when they first start to know that you're in this word, they always try to watch you to see if you slip up. Watch you to see if you get a piece of pork. And you told them you don't eat pork. Watch you to see, oh, I thought you say you a so-called Christian, you're not supposed to drink. They watch for your downfall. And as soon as they think that you can't, let's say they think that you can't drink because you're the type of Christian, because it's two type of Christians. You're the type of Christian that's what's they call it? You're not you're the type of Christian that kind of follow Constantine, okay? And then there's a Christian that follow Mashiach Yahushua, or should I say, you're the type of Christian that follow pagan, pagan gods. And then there's the real Christians, what I'm saying, which is the Israelites, which was really called the followers of Mashiach Yahushua. They was followers of Yahushua, the anointed one. Okay? And then they say, oh, you're not supposed to, I thought you're not supposed to drink because they think you're a Christian of the Constantine, or that brung in that paganism in. So they be like, oh, we thought you was a Christian like that. Okay? We got them now. So read that in verse 21 again. Yeah, they open their mouth wide against me and say, aha, aha, I have seen it. We caught you drinking now. You was drinking, brother. Ain't you supposed to be an Israelite? Ain't you not supposed to drink because they don't know the better? They're ready to watch you down for. Psalm 70 and 3. Psalm 70, verse 3. Let them be turned back for a reward of their shame that say, aha, aha, there it is again. He slipped and he fell. What happened? I remember one person said to my wife a long time ago, where's your God now? A heathen said that to her. Where's your God now? Isaiah 54:17. Isaiah 54:17. No weapon, and this is what you should believe in, and remember this. No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their righteousness is of me, says the Lord. So if you believe in that and you really embrace that, even if you get incarcerated, when Jacob's troubles come around, you remember the inspirational, scriptures in your mind and your head, and let that be your upbuild you, and do your prayers. Okay, and look, you may not even get out within a year. You might have to do 6 years. You might have to do the whole damn bid. Think about John the Revelator, stuck on Isles of Patmos. That was his sentence. I believe he died. I believe he died there. See, you see how all the prophets at the end, nothing was really great for all the prophets. Most of them. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them, like Isaiah, cut to pieces. A lot of them was tortured, man. So you better think like this. Some of us might be martyrs. So that little baby girl that you got at home, your little baby princess, nigga, you might not ever see her, but only for the first 3 years. And then them fucking Gerber troopers come to your house and pick you up, torture you, kill you. Now, I'm not saying that while you here, make it last. Do what you gotta do. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying be a tight ass, fucking with a stick up your ass. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that while you're here, enjoy yourself. If you have a family, enjoy yourself. If you want to do different things, but do the word first and continue on the oracles of things that are high, most high first. Because these things is coming. Perilous times. Proverbs 11:19. As a righteous tend to life, so he that pursue evil, pursue it to his own death. Yeah, because they're going to get theirs. Okay? Let's go to James 1, 2, and 3. My brethren, count it all joy when you fall into diverse temptations. Yeah, that's they're challenging you. Satan got kids. He got children challenging you. Okay? He got counterparts. He got co-offenders that work for him. Okay? My brother, count it all joy when you fall into diverse temptation, knowing this, that the trying of your faith, Aman, work patient. Because faith is Aman. You see an Amen, that's faith.
Strong's G 5281. Upamane. Upamane.
Okay. Let me show you that too. I thought that was incredible. Faith. In the Hebrew word is the same word as Amen in our prayer. Real quick, not to get off a point. Watch this. It also means agree. We agree to the word. Come on. Don't start acting up on me now. I'm on. I can't get it now. Can't get it now. All right, when you look it up on yourself, Amen, Aman, in the Greek word, faith in the Hebrew word is also Amen. When we say our prayer, so they hand in hand. I like that. So I just wanted to share that with you. But you look it up for yourself. James 1 and 12. This is the last scriptures. Blessed is the man that endured temptation, for when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life, and that is the Stephanos. That's the victory crown. See?
Strong's G 4735. Stephanos. Stephanos.
Okay. A mark of royalty, or in general exalted rank. The wreath of a garland, which is given as a prize to victors in the public game. Metaphorically, the eternal blessings which will be given as a prize in the genuine servants of the Most High, of the genuine servants of God for the Most High, and Yahweh shall the crown, which is the reward of the righteousness. Okay, and that's the one. be, metaphorically. And that's what we want. What I mentioned, exempted from judgment. Okay, that's the mark that we're going to get. Okay, so this is another episode of Performing Arts. Okay, and to the musicians playing that instrument in the Most High's orchestra, okay, to that playing that tune. That's the song that we playing because we all on one accord. We all serving Moshiach Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai Mashiach, the Heavenly Father. We all worshiping the Father and the Son. Okay? So don't think because you're in this truth that you're not going to be tried. Man, you are going to be tried. You might be incarcerated. You know what I'm saying? You might have to do long bids, 10 bids. You might be incarcerated with murderers that's got 25 to life, 30 years. And you ain't never been arrested in your life. This is real, y'all. This is real. So think and train your mind now. And how do you think and train your mind? You think and train your mind on these scriptures. And you meditate on them day and night. Shalom, brothers. Peace.